Team Fortress 2 is, or rather was, the best live service game, and the reason why I say that is because this game barely gets any support anymore. But what if Lord Gaming came back with the milk and gave us the heavy update, or whatever update they would give us? Now this is a topic that's been on my head ever since summer 2023, along with the game being ported to 64-bit architecture, which unfortunately is probably the most support we have gotten in the last 7 years. And that's really sad to think about, actually, wow. Plus, a major TF2 update does actually seem possible more than ever given an anniversary. I mean, Half-Life got a 25th anniversary update, why not TF2? Although whether or not that will actually happen is up in the air. So here's my wish list for a proposed final major TF2 update, assuming Valve would come back and make it happen. Also, if you're new here, welcome. I make videos about games that run on Valve's source engine. If that seems like your thing, be sure to subscribe. And while you're at it, go follow my Twitch and Twitter, or I guess my X profile, which makes it sound like a porn website, but anyway, and also go check out my Discord server. And with that, let's get into the actual video. Okay, so let's go over the theme and content within this update. So Jungle Inferno, which is also probably the term you'd use for a Manscaped advertisement, had a class centered around it, which was Pyro. So instead of Pyro, why not Heavy? Yes. He's the class without practically any other playstyles. I mean, he practically only has one. The other defense classes, Engineer and Demo Man, have alternate playstyles, like the former Battle NG and Demo Knight. Also, Jesus Christ, I said the word playstyles 3 times within the past 2 sentences. So, we need a name for this update, and well, I'll be choosing the name Ironheart. Why? I just think that suits this for some reason. And with that, we should also pick a snow theme for all the maps and cosmetics as well. And since Russia is well cold, it makes sense for the update to be all snow and forest themed. Just like how Jungle Inferno was jungle and fire themed. Now as for the content, we'd add more than any other update, because if you're updating one of the most iconic games for one final time, why not go out with a bang? First up, we need a new selection of miniguns. Or weapons in this case, but let's first start off with miniguns. Heavy really only has 3 playstyles: Defense, Roaming, and Fat Scout. So this new minigun, or miniguns plural, we would add would probably give him more variety. Because being a heavy man is like if you had to eat normal Cheerios for every breakfast. It's like, this is alright, but where's my variety in flavor? You know what I mean? Jesus Christ, I'm going off topic, aren't I? Hell, it doesn't even have to be a new minigun. It could be something like a shield or whatever, I don't know. But a primary 2 with a different playstyle is a good thing. As for other weapons, let's add a melee weapon or 2. Who knows, you could maybe even make it work well with one of the new miniguns, which would result in a playstyle like Combo Pyro. We could add a lunchbox item or a shotgun, but that's kinda unnecessary to me since all the items already in that slot would all need balance changes or left unchanged. I mean, weapons like the buffalo steak sandwich and chocolate bar are practically pointless since the other 2 lunchbox items are so good. But here's an idea for a new secondary. Heavy tends to run out of ammo a lot because his miniguns consume a lot, so why not make a deployable ammo box that gives you and your team ammo? If that seems a little too overpowered, make it so the player and their teammates can only use it one time. Just think of it as a one-time use health cabinet, but for only ammo. As for the changes I'd make to Heavy in his already existing unlocks, I would love to see a shotgun dedicated slot for Heavy. Now, I love playing Fat Scout. In fact, I probably have more playtime on Fat Scout than any other playstyles and even Grass. But man, Fat Scout is just not viable. Not having a 4th slot kinda makes the shotgun pointless if you're being serious about this game. And honestly, pairing the shotgun with something like the buffalo steak sandwich, it would probably be very funny. Imagine the possibilities, it's an actual Fat Scout. Now sure, this has the potential to break the game, but you could always test it out in a beta branch before this update came out. It's not like they haven't done that before with other unlocks that other characters had. We'd also probably nerf the Fists of Steel slightly. The Gru, while once so annoying that it was basically the digital version of saying fuck you, is in a good enough spot to me. The Fist of Steel, while slightly better than pre-Jungle Inferno, is still stupid busted. As for how you would nerf it, I wouldn't know, but the Fist of Steel is most certainly going to be on the patch notes. I'd also buff the buffalo steak sandwich, eviction notice, warrior spirit, and the chocolate bar that I won't even try to spell out in my script, and the Hulong heater. These weapons range from it's alright to this makes me want to take a toaster bath, so yeah, some of these need buffs more than others, but I'd also like to save that stuff for a different video. Also, you may have noticed that the quote-unquote heavy update doesn't really have that many weapons for him. And the reason why is because we should also probably give the other classes some weapons too if this is the final major update. For example, Engineer needs more secondaries, your currently only has 3 excluding
weapon reskins,
with one of them being so broken I'm convinced you could turn your brain off and still do well with them. Medic also needs more mediguns and actually viable melees and such, the list goes on. I'd probably say Medic and Engineer would take priority since they are definitely the most lacking in terms of a weapon arsenal. So that's what I would probably do for other weapons in this update. Anyways, for maps, let's go with about 4 Valve made and 6 community ones because Valve has to not be lazy and make some new maps for once. And the hypothetical update will also come with a bunch of cosmetics too. I also like a new contract pass similar to Jungle Inferno. It would give the 7-year starved player base more stuff to do for the months after this update. I swear, I feel like we've been running on pure sheer amount of doping that this game can provide. Other than that, I think that's all the actual content this update will have, even if this will never happen. They are obviously working on the game where I learned how to speak Russian. Now, I think there's a ton of stuff that I'd add into this game relating to the matchmaking system, but I'll mention my best suggestions. First off, this is kind of obvious, but for the love of God, fix the bots. This has been a problem for so long, I hope this is priority number 1. Also, if you happen to make bots for this game, I hope you eat moldy cheese for the rest of your life. As for other changes I'd make to casual, I'd really like the ability to call for team scrambles on Valve servers. This feature was really good at fixing unbalanced teams. I'll never forget why it was removed in TF2's version of Pompeii. I'd also love for Valve to add the ability to switch teams and spectate on official matchmaking servers. And actually, it could be a good reason or way to kick the bots easier if you give spectators the ability to kick players. Now sure, probably nobody would be spectating, and this could be pretty unbalanced, and you would need to increase the server size by about 4 players, but to me, this could be a potential way you could test vote kicking bots, so why not try it? Plus, it's already in the game minus vote kicking, so all you'd have to do is add the functionality into casual servers. And oh wait, this corpse on the menu exists. Valve competitive is a complete joke and a waste of time, and while I basically know nothing about the competitive scene for this game, let's give it a whirl and see what I can propose. From my understanding that I can somehow comprehend, Valve competitive has 3 main issues. Lack of class limits, no incentive to play, and no weapon bans. Now personally, my problem with number 3 is unnecessary to me. I'm not a fan of living sandbox options, so that can stay, but the other 2 are kinda needed. I think class limits are sorely needed here. So let's take the current class limits for 6s and put them in here. As for the reason for playing, that's kinda tricky. At first I thought about giving some free cosmetics for every tier you'd go up. That'll probably be only a one-time thing, so population would die out very fast. Instead of just the idea above, let's also have a system where you would gain an icon on your name. That way, so when somebody kills you or you kill them, their rank shows up on the kill feed, or just as that banner you have whenever someone kills you. It shows less of a life you have, I mean how dedicated you are, and it shows the enemy team that they should start running. These, in my opinion, would be great enough to make ranked competitive enjoyable. The Blue Moon update was a great step forward, but they just never capitalized on this momentum they made themselves. Okay, since we're at a point where I don't want to continue editing this video as much, let's rapid fire through a few of my quality of life changes I would like to see. First off, let's make alternative game modes more visible. These game modes are basically tucked at the bottom of the playlist in modes, and they're not really easily available. Game modes like Manpower and Pastime should be played more. You gotta put them in a spot where people are more likely to try them. I'd also like a dedicated player destruction playlist like how Capture the Flag and King of the Hill have. I am a huge sucker for player destruction, and I'd love to see it get more love in this game. Also, I'd like to see more Australian weapons, but not for every weapon in this game. In my opinion, those weapons should be special, and limiting their availability is a good way to do that. Also, the reason why I didn't say the actual name is because I already misspelt that in my script, so I really don't want to do it again. This next feature might be a little random, but I'd also like a doubled entity limit for mappers. As someone that is currently working on a Left 4 Dead campaign that hasn't released yet, I'd love to see an increased potential for mappers with this doubled entity limit. Who knows, if that happens, we would get an influx of new creators that are going to learn how to make a map for TF2. Stuffing like increasing the entity limit or even better VScript features would go a long way for that. Lastly, I would like the community server browser and the standard source UI to at least be formatted for modern displays. Anything above 900p is way too small for my eyes, and I wear glasses, and that says a lot. And lastly, I'd like to add Miss Pauling's sex. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. If you enjoy videos about games running on the Source engine, as I mentioned above, consider subscribing. I'd really appreciate it. And I'm gonna go stand by for Timefall while making the next video. So, I'll see you later.
Bye-bye! Throwing flashbang!